Look at that, countertops. It's Tuesday, January 2011. Got countertops. That's the downstairs unit. And now the homeowner's in the process of figuring out what kind of backsplash he wants. It's going to be a tile, a glass tile of some sort. So here's upstairs. A little brighter up here. We get a little more sunshine. As sunny as it's going to get on this rainy day. That's why the painters are here, working on the inside. Let's look at some fun stuff. Here's the beginning layout. Oh, that must be Shop Dummy on the phone. That's his ringtone. Alright, we'll be right back. Alright, where was I? There I was. So this is the way I like to lay out tile. And, you know, there's more than one way to skin a cat, so I'm sure I'm going to get comments about, well, I always do it like this. Well, the one thing I've learned in construction is there are no absolutes. There are more than one ways to skin a cat, literally. And, anyway, some people would probably have put the floor tile directly down on plywood. I don't particularly care for that. Me personally, I've had adhesion issues with it, especially in bathrooms. I use this HardieBacker HardieBoard Superior Moisture and Mold Protection. Okay, whatever. That's half-inch stuff, nice and stout. The reason why I use half-inch is because these are 18 by 18, even though they're quarter-inch Italian tiles, which are way more quality control. They're a way better tile than cheap China knockoffs. 18 by 18 inch tiles really span a lot of floor space, and I had issues with the ranch house. I put 18 by 18s in, and the floors settled a little bit because of the weight, and because they span such a large area of floor, they were starting to pop. So I like a sturdy, I've got the 3/4 inch sturdy floor, like I said, that's the tongue and groove, 4 by 8 sheets of plywood, and then I put this half-inch cement board on top to make a really rigid floor so these 18s don't pop. I lay the tiles out in the doorway, so one tile is centered, and that's just a personal thing. I don't like stepping onto a grout line, so I space things out that way. So you're walking in, and I'm running it just straight horizontal and vertical. There's a lot of straight lines in this, a lot of perpendicular lines in this bathroom. I didn't want to run it on diagonal because I think that would be way too confusing. So what I like to do is I like to dry set my tile, and I'm going to run another course this way. And usually what I'll do is I'll divide the bathroom in half, and I'll have everything dry cut for one side, and I'll come in, and what I'm going to do now that I just got that hole cut to go around the tub drain. Anyhow, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and run another course this way. I'm going to glue everything down. I pull everything back. I start spreading my mortar, and I glue half the bathroom, and then what I'm going to do, and I'll show you by my finger, this finger here, is once I get this half done with tile, I'm going to work my way back around this way, come around this way, and then sweep myself out of the bathroom. Right now, sorry about the spin, see, it's warm in here, it's 48 degrees, it's about 11 a.m. on Tuesday. So anyway, so I sweep around and I work myself out. So I'm going to leave this course unglued so I can comfortably step in and out of the bathroom without stepping on my mortar tiles. So let's go downstairs and I'll show you what material I use. So I use, because that's what the store has, just a standard thin set mortar. And I always add, I use a big fat notch trowel like that, especially for these 18s. This one lays real nice ridges. But something to consider is I recently have used some sort of bonding adhesive. This is made by Sika, which I really like. Concrete bonding adhesive. This one is a Sakrete because they were out of the Sika bonded fortifier, whatever. It's basically a gallon of glue. And you use that in place of water when you're mixing this thin set, and it really increases the adhesion. And only because I don't like comebacks. I don't like coming back for tiles popping. It costs me money to come back. So I spend the extra money. I think this stuff runs $8 to $10 a gallon. I can't remember right now. But it's not that much if you think about when you have tiles popping, how you've got to come back and fix stuff like that. And besides the fact you look like you don't know what you're doing. So that's it. I mixed it up with that, used that bonding adhesive instead of water, and start laying it out. So the first 2 courses are already mortared in. Be sure you quickly wipe up any, see there's a little discoloration there and there, any extra mortar that you're not going to be using. And really only trowel out. You don't want to over trowel the stuff. You plop it down there, make a couple passes with your notch trowel, and then put your tile down relatively quickly. You don't want that grout losing its shine, because then it kind of loses its stick. That means it's starting to dry out, and you don't want that to happen. So just kind of work. I think I worked like three at a time, which is about 4 feet or so, 4.5 feet square. And because these are already pre-cut, so they plop down pretty fast. And I use these little biscuit spacers. I've tried to eyeball floors before in my early days of tiling when I was dumb and stubborn, and it just doesn't freaking work. So these are 1/8 inch. These are 1/8 inch spacers. These are kind of neat because they've got a cross pattern on one side and they've got a straight pattern on the other. And the cross pattern would be what you would use in these corners here. So you only need 1 spacer. The downside that I have to that on floor tile, that works well okay for wall tile, I guess. I don't know, I never use it. I like to be sure that all 4 of these corners are the same height. Because you'll notice that some floors are a little irregular. Sometimes your grouts, why do I keep calling it grout? Your mortar's a little irregular. And the last thing you want is one of these corners kicked up higher than the other, because then that's no fun for someone to walk on. And you'll get one of those unpopular callbacks because the tile doesn't look right. So I always, majority of the time, I use 4 biscuits and I leave that open so I can make sure I have to tap it down or whatever has to be done, wedges put underneath to make sure it's level. Ceramic tile, it's not as critical. If you do slate tile, even though it's gauged, irregular surfaces like slate tile are really tricky to get these intersections here done right. I did not mortar this one down. This is my guide tile. As you can see, there's an itty bitty little mark which is centered to the door jamb, and that corresponds to a mark on the tile which is center tile. That assures me that I have even grout line spacing between the door jamb, and cosmetics are huge. Someone stands at the door and looks in. I'm screwed up like that kind of detail. I like stuff like that squared away. So this one's not currently stuck down. That's it. Okay, so that's that. Sorry, I had a phone call real quick. This is the mortar. This is the consistency. I like it. I like it probably actually a little wetter than this, but that seems to have good pot life too. It'll stick in this bucket for, and then well, actually it depends. On a 47-degree day like today, it's going to stay viable in this bucket for quite some time. But on a 90-degree day, it all varies, which is why I don't like giving absolutes on absolutely how much you need to, how much time you need to allow for drying, how much you should spread out before you stick the tile down. So it really varies on humidity, on temperature, on floor surface, temperature of the floor surface. Basically, you don't want it to lose its shine. Keep your mortar shiny, and the tile will stick nicely to it. So I'm going to keep on going.